B&B spoilers. Will Logan's launch seal Katie's fate after Eric's disturbing clue? The bold and the beautiful spoilers and updates indicate that Eric Forrester, John McCook, may have just dropped a chilling hint with his ominous "you're dead" remark. Will Katie Logan Spencer's Heather Tom destiny be determined by Logan's launch? Katie has encountered numerous medical emergencies throughout the years. Which always raises concerns among fans regarding her health. This is particularly true when it comes to Katie's heart and the high-pressure situations she often finds herself in. Amidst the chaos surrounding Luna Nozoa, Lisa Yamada, there were subtle clues in the dialogue suggesting that Katie could be on the brink of another heart crisis. Nevertheless, B&B ultimately abandoned that storyline and abruptly concluded the Luna arc. It appeared as though the show was keen to shift focus to this fashion rivalry, yet they might still explore the drama surrounding Katie's health. It's Storm Logan's heart that is beating in Katie's chest. Longtime B&B viewers will remember that it's Storm Logan's William DeVry heart that is beating in Katie's chest. Without a heart transplant, Katie would have died. Instead, in one of the most emotional scenes ever played out on the CBS soap, or for television in general for that matter, Storm took his life so his little sister could live. No doubt if Katie's transplanted heart gave out now, she would require another transplant, and it was difficult to find a match for her back then. Although there doesn't seem to be any hints in her actions that her heart is bothering her, she's clearly showing signs of stress. Could Katie be so overwhelmed by Logan's kickoff her heart could act up? Perhaps it might unfold differently now that Katie is feeling so overwhelmed by Logan's kickoff. In the January 13th episode of B&B, Eric emphasized the importance of making a significant impact right from the start. He insisted that Katie's initial collection must be so exceptional that no one could possibly overlook it. "If you don't have a grand opening, you're finished," Eric cautioned Katie, leaving her rattled in the process. While Eric was clearly referring to Katie's fashion house with that remark, it's intriguing how he chose to express it. Will the stress overcome Katie? Were the writers suggesting that Katie might encounter a life-threatening or near-fatal health issue if her launch fails? It's possible that Katie's health struggles could come into play, putting her heart under considerable pressure. With the stress of preparing for Logan's launch and the devastating impact of failure looming over her, Katie's heart could potentially give out. This doesn't necessarily imply that Katie will be written off, but Eric's warning certainly raises concerns. If this fashion endeavor takes a turn for the worse, Katie could find herself in the hospital fighting for her life, so keep an eye out for any significant updates. The sun may be shining over the Forrester estate, but a dark cloud has officially settled over the Logan family. In a series of events that has left the bold and the beautiful fans reeling, what was supposed to be a triumphant new chapter for Katie Logan has turned into a nightmare of high-stakes stress and ominous warnings. As of January 16th, 2026, the tension between Brooke and Katie has reached a fever pitch, but it's a disturbing clue from the legendary Eric Forrester that has everyone fearing for Katie's life. Is the launch of her new fashion house, Logan, the beginning of her empire or the end of her journey? The Logan War. Sisters at each other's throats. For weeks, we've watched the slow-motion car crash that is the Logan sisterhood. Bill Spencer's decision to bankroll Katie's independent fashion house was meant to be a gesture of empowerment. Instead, it has sparked a trademark war that would make a corporate lawyer blush. Brooke Logan, usually the protector of her sisters, has taken a hard line. She views the use of the Logan name in fashion as her exclusive territory. The scenes this week were devastating, with Brooke essentially infantilizing Katie, viewing her move as a little girl playing dress-up in her big sister's clothes. "I made the name Logan synonymous with fashion," Brooke declared in a chilling confrontation. "You're just using it to ride my coattails." The emotional toll on Katie is visible. We've seen her clutching her chest more than once, a terrifying callback to her history of heart transplants and medical crises. But it wasn't until Eric Forrester stepped into the mix that the true gravity of the situation became clear. Eric's ominous warning. If you don't have a big opening, you're dead. In a shocking twist, Eric Forrester, feeling sidelined and forced into retirement by his own son, Ridge, has decided to defect. He isn't just offering Katie advice. He is coming out of retirement to be her lead designer. While this should be a moment of celebration, Eric delivered a line during the January 13th episode that has sent the fandom into a tailspin. While discussing the pressure of the upcoming launch, Eric looked Katie in the eye and issued a grim warning. If you don't have a big opening, you're dead. On the surface, it's a veteran fashion mogul talking about industry success. But in the world of soaps, especially for a character like Katie who has literally survived because of a donor heart, the word dead is never used lightly. Why fans are worried? The stress factor. Katie is managing the launch, the trademark war with Brooke, and the fallout of poaching Eric. The history. Katie's heart is fragile. The show has dropped subtle hints about a heart crisis for months. The narrative weight. With R.J. Forrester returning and Carter and Daphne planning a wedding, the show is looking for a massive emotional catalyst to shake up the status quo. Will Spencer's new role, protector or witness to tragedy? As Katie navigates this minefield, her son, Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, has been her rock. We've seen Will and his girlfriend Electra trying to stay out of the crossfire, but the sad news today suggests that Will may soon have to face the ultimate fear, losing his mother. If the Logan launch fails, or if the legal pressure from Brooke and Ridge becomes too much, will Katie's heart literally break? Eric's clue implies that the stakes aren't just financial, they are biological. Is this the end for Katie Logan? The Today's Sad News headlines circulating among the B&B community aren't just clickbait. They reflect a genuine fear that Heather Tom's iconic character is being written into a corner. If Katie collapses on the runway during the Logan launch, it would be the ultimate soap opera tragedy. It would force Brooke to face the reality that her pride and trademark were worth more to her than her sister's health. It would leave Bill Spencer in a path of destruction, and it would leave Eric Forrester carrying the guilt of pushing Katie to the brink. Character current stance: the risk Katie Logan determined to prove herself a fatal heart rejection or attack. Eric Forrester seeking revenge on Ridge via Katie. Guilt if his big splash kills his partner. Brooke Logan feeling betrayed and territorial, permanent estrangement or worse. From Katie, Bill Spencer providing the muscle and money, losing the woman he still loves to the stress he funded. What's next? The countdown to the Logan launch has begun. With Eric's designs behind her, Katie has the talent and the beautiful spoilers carry an unusually heavy emotional weight, and fans may want to brace themselves. What should have been a proud, hopeful milestone for Will Logan is rapidly spiraling into a heartbreaking turning point, one that could forever change Katie Logan's life. As Will prepares for a major launch meant to cement his future, a disturbing clue from Eric Forrester casts a dark shadow over the celebration. Instead of triumph, tragedy may be waiting just beyond the spotlight. For longtime viewers, this moment feels painfully familiar. In the world of B&B, success often comes at a devastating personal cost. And this time, Katie may be the one paying the ultimate price. A dream launch with a dark undercurrent. Will Logan's launch has been positioned as a symbol of hope, renewal, and legacy. After years of being seen as Dollar Bill's son, or Katie's child, Will is finally stepping out on his own. This launch represents more than business. It's about identity, independence, and proving himself to a family known for devouring its own. Katie, of course, has been Will's strongest supporter. Through every setback, every family feud, every scandal involving Bill Spencer, Katie stood firm for her son. She believed in Will when others dismissed him as inexperienced or too soft for the cutthroat fashion world. But now, as Will's moment arrives, something feels deeply wrong. The smiles feel forced. The celebration feels rushed. And most troubling of all, Eric Forrester's cryptic behavior suggests this launch may be hiding a devastating truth. Eric Forrester's disturbing clue changes everything. Eric Forrester has seen it all. Decades of betrayals, power struggles, Secret illnesses and tragic losses have made him the unofficial oracle of the bold and the beautiful. When Eric grows quiet, when his eyes fill with concern instead of pride, fans know something is coming. And this time, Eric's reaction to Will's launch is anything but celebratory. Sources tease that Eric drops a subtle but chilling clue, one that only those closest to him truly notice. A comment made under his breath. A prolonged stare at Katie. A moment where pride gives way to guilt. Why would Eric feel guilt during Will's big moment? The answer may lie in a secret that threatens to shatter Katie's world. Katie Logan's uneasy instincts return. Katie Logan has always had strong instincts, especially when it comes to her son. Even as she applauds Will's success, viewers will see cracks forming in her composure. She senses something is off, something no one is telling her. Her health has already been a sensitive topic in recent months. While she's tried to remain strong, there have been subtle hints that Katie isn't as well as she pretends to be. Fatigue, emotional fragility, moments of dizziness she quickly brushes aside. Now, Eric's strange behavior only heightens her anxiety. Is Katie hiding something from Will? Or is everyone else hiding something from her? A launch built on a lie? As the launch unfolds, whispers begin circulating behind the scenes. What if Will's success isn't as clean as it appears? What if deals were made without Katie's knowledge? Deals that come with devastating consequences. Eric's disturbing clue may suggest that Will's launch required sacrifices Katie was never meant to make. Some insiders hint that the launch could be tied to a legal, financial, or medical revelation involving Katie. Others suggest the truth is even darker, that Katie's future has already been decided, and Will's launch is being used as a distraction from the inevitable. If that's true, then this moment of pride becomes something else entirely, a goodbye disguised as a celebration. Will Logan's victory could become his greatest regret. Will Logan has always wanted to make his mother proud. But what happens when he realizes that his success may be linked to her downfall? Spoilers suggest Will may soon uncover the truth behind Eric's unsettling clue, and when he does, the guilt could be crushing. The idea that his launch, his big break, might have sealed Katie's fate is almost too much to bear. Imagine the devastation. Will standing on stage, applause roaring, while his mother's life quietly unravels in the background. In classic B&B fashion, the triumph and tragedy may collide in the most heartbreaking way possible. Bill Spencer's looming breakdown. Where there is Katie Logan heartbreak, Bill Spencer is never far behind. Bill's relationship with Katie has been turbulent, but one thing has always remained true. Katie is his emotional anchor. If she is truly facing a devastating fate, Bill's carefully constructed empire could come crashing down. Spoilers tease that Bill may already suspect something is wrong. His sudden protectiveness, his sharp questions, and his growing hostility toward Eric all point to a man preparing for war. If Bill learns that Katie's suffering was hidden, or worse, used to advance Will's launch, there will be consequences. And knowing Dollar Bill, they won't be pretty. Brooke Logan feels the storm coming. Brooke Logan, ever the emotional barometer of the Logan family, is said to feel the shift before anyone else. She notices Katie's forced smiles, Eric's odd silences, and Will's distracted joy. Brooke has lived through too many happy moments that ended in devastation. She knows the signs. Spoilers suggest Brooke may be the first to confront Eric, demanding the truth about his disturbing clue and what it means for Katie. That confrontation could unleash secrets that no one is ready to face. Is Katie facing a life-altering diagnosis? While nothing has been confirmed, the most heartbreaking theory circulating among fans involves Katie's health. Could Eric know something about Katie's condition that she herself doesn't? Could Will's launch be timed before devastating news breaks? Eric's history of protecting loved ones, even through deception, makes this possibility chillingly plausible. If he believes shielding Katie from the truth will give her peace, he may already have crossed a line. And if Katie learns she was kept in the dark about her own fate, the betrayal could be more painful than the diagnosis itself. A legacy moment turns into a farewell. What makes this storyline so devastating is the emotional contrast. Will's launch is meant to symbolize the future, but Katie's arc feels hauntingly final. Fans are already speculating that upcoming episodes may transform this event into an unspoken farewell, a moment where Katie watches her son step into his destiny, knowing she may not be there to see what comes next. Whether through illness, betrayal, or emotional collapse, Katie's fate appears to be hanging by a thread. Why this storyline hurts so much? Katie Logan is one of the show's quiet survivors. She's endured heartbreak, betrayal, health crises, and emotional abandonment, yet she always found a way to stand back up. That's why this storyline cuts so deep. Seeing her happiness overshadowed by secrets and disturbing clues feels cruel, even by B&B standards. It raises painful questions about sacrifice, motherhood, and whether success is worth the cost of love. If Will's launch truly seals Katie's fate, then this may go down as one of the most tragic turning points in recent Bold and the Beautiful history. Final thoughts: a celebration tainted by sadness. Today's very sad news of the Bold and the Beautiful leaves fans heartbroken and anxious. Will Logan's launch should have been a joyful milestone, but Eric Forrester's disturbing clue suggests something far more tragic is unfolding. For Katie Logan fans, Katie's journey has never been an easy one. Time and again, she has faced life-threatening medical emergencies that tested not only her physical strength, but also her emotional resilience and her faith in the people she loves most. Today's very sad news is not about a single incident, but about the heartbreaking pattern that has followed Katie for years, a relentless cycle of illness, recovery, hope, and devastating setbacks that have left her forever changed. From sudden collapses to whispered diagnoses in sterile hospital rooms, Katie's life has often felt like a ticking clock. Each medical crisis carved deeper lines of fear into her story, reminding viewers just how fragile happiness can be. A body that betrayed her too soon. Katie's earliest medical struggles arrived without warning, shattering her sense of security. What began as mild discomfort quickly escalated into terrifying symptoms that left her gasping for breath and clutching her chest. Doctors' faces grew grave as tests revealed that something was terribly wrong. Those first hospital stays were a brutal awakening. Katie, once the dependable sister and steady emotional anchor, suddenly found herself dependent on machines, medications, and the unwavering presence of her family. The fear in her eyes said everything. She wasn't ready to face her own mortality, yet it was staring her down. For viewers, it was the first time seeing Katie truly vulnerable, stripped of control and forced to confront the reality that her body could fail her at any moment. The heart condition that changed everything. One of the most defining chapters of Katie's life was her battle with severe heart problems. The diagnosis hit like a thunderbolt. Her heart, symbolic of her love, loyalty, and emotional depth, was literally failing her. As her condition worsened, everyday activities became dangerous. Walking across a room left her exhausted. Simple conversations were interrupted by breathlessness. Every heartbeat carried uncertainty, and every night brought the fear that she might not wake up. The waiting was unbearable. Katie needed a heart transplant, and the clock was cruel. Loved ones tried to stay hopeful, but the reality was grim. Each phone call from the hospital sent waves of panic through her family. When the transplant finally came, it was both a miracle and a tragedy. While Katie was given a second chance at life, it came at the cost of another person's death. That knowledge haunted her. Gratitude and guilt became inseparable, and her recovery was as emotional as it was physical. Survival came with a heavy price. The transplant saved Katie's life, but it didn't restore it to what it once was. Post-surgery complications, immune-suppressing medications, and constant medical monitoring became her new normal. Every fever sparked fear of rejection. Every ache sent her spiraling into panic. Katie lived with the quiet terror that her body might turn against her again. Emotionally, the toll was immense. She struggled with anxiety, survivor's guilt, and the crushing pressure to make her life count, now that she'd been given another chance. Smiles often masked exhaustion. Brave words hid sleepless nights spent wondering how long her borrowed time would last. Pregnancy turned into a medical nightmare. Just when it seemed Katie might finally experience joy without fear, another devastating medical crisis struck. Her pregnancy, meant to be a time of hope and renewal, quickly became a high-risk ordeal. Doctors warned her that carrying a child could put fatal strain on her heart. Every appointment carried dire possibilities. Every decision felt like a gamble between her life and her baby's future. Katie faced an impossible choice, one no woman should ever have to make. The emotional agony of that period left scars that never truly healed. Love, fear, and sacrifice collided in a way that changed her forever. Even after the crisis passed, the trauma lingered. The experience reinforced a cruel truth. Katie's body could turn moments of happiness into life-or-death battles without mercy. Collapses, close calls, and constant fear. Over the years, Katie's medical emergencies became terrifyingly familiar. Sudden collapses at work, rushed ambulance rides, emergency surgeries that came out of nowhere. Each incident reopened old wounds and reignited the fear she had tried so hard to bury. Her loved ones learned to recognize the signs: pale skin, shaking hands, that look of dread in her eyes. They learned how quickly everything could unravel. For Katie, the psychological weight was relentless. Living under constant threat eroded her confidence and her sense of independence. She hated being seen as fragile, yet her body kept betraying her strength. Love under the shadow of illness. Katie's romantic relationships were deeply affected by her medical history. Love was never simple. It was always intertwined with fear. Partners worried constantly about losing her. Arguments were fueled by concern disguised as control. Promises of forever felt fragile when tomorrow wasn't guaranteed. At times, Katie pushed people away, convinced she was a burden. At other times, she clung tightly, desperate not to face another hospital room alone. Illness reshaped how she loved and how she allowed herself to be loved. Emotional trauma no one talks about. Beyond the physical emergencies, Katie endured a quieter, often overlooked struggle: medical trauma. Repeated brushes with death leave invisible wounds. Hospitals became triggers. The sound of monitors, the smell of antiseptic, even routine checkups stirred panic. She learned to smile through it, to reassure others she was fine, even when fear churned in her chest. Katie became an expert at masking pain, not because it disappeared, but because she was tired of being defined by it. Strength born from suffering. Despite everything, Katie survived. Again and again, she fought her way back from the edge. Her resilience became her defining trait, not because she never broke, but because she kept going even when she did. She became more compassionate, more reflective, more aware of life's fleeting nature. Her hardships deepened her empathy and sharpened her appreciation for small moments of joy. Yet survival came at a cost. The constant medical battles left her weary, emotionally and physically. Strength in Katie's world was never glamorous. It was raw, painful, and often lonely. Today's very sad news is the realization that Katie's life has been shaped by crisis more than peace. Her story is not just one of illness, but of enduring loss, of innocence, of certainty, of the freedom to live without fear. Each medical emergency took something from her, even as it spared her life. And while she continues to stand, continues to love, continues to hope, the shadow of her past emergencies never fully fades. Katie's journey is a heartbreaking reminder that survival does not erase trauma, and that sometimes the bravest stories are not about triumph, but about enduring pain with grace. As fans reflect on everything Katie has endured, One truth stands out above all others. Her heart, both literal and emotional, has been tested beyond measure. And though it still beats, it carries the weight of every battle she has fought and every scar she has earned along the way. Each medical emergency took something from her, even as it spared her life. And while she continues to stand, continues to love, continues to hope, the shadow of her past emergencies never fully fades. Katie's journey is a heartbreaking reminder that survival does not erase trauma.